Hey, welcome to the Jungle Brothers podcast. It's Joey here, and today, Paul Fertofili and Aaron Howley join me for a chat all about personal training. Aaron is the head of our PT development here at the gym, which is the program that we use to help our coaches become better at what they do on a weekly basis, but also to help them build successful PT businesses. And we see those two skill sets as going hand in hand for anyone that is transitioning into a PT or coaching career. Now, we really go into our origin stories as PTs, and as such, we detail some of the big mistakes we made in the past. So there's a few classic horror stories in this one, plenty of good laughs, but really quite a few cautionary tales for anyone out there that is also a coach or thinking about getting into coaching. Now, if that is something you're interested in, you'd probably be keen on our Coaches Intensive, which is a 2-day course that we run where we take current coaches and up-and-coming coaches through all of the skill sets that we believe are essential for anyone who wants to be a world-class coach and build a successful PT business. Everything from sales and marketing through to programming and public speaking. It's an amazing course. Anyone can do it. It's a great chance to dip your toes into the Jungle Alliance methodology and to see if it is something that you would like to work in. Now, the next course will be running sometime in the new year. We don't have a date booked right now, but we're looking at January, mid to late Jan. So if you are interested, you can get in touch with us at junglebrothers.com and I can tell you more about it there. In any case, I hope that after listening to today's show, you can have a bit of a laugh at our expense, but you can also not make the same mistakes we did as young personal trainers in the fitness industry. Enjoy the episode. You be snatching what, Paul Fertofili? You guys are double teaming that poor microphone over there because Joey dropped the ball on the. We had a technical difficulty, guys. I apologize, and resulted in Paul and Az sharing a mic. It's not. It doesn't feel professional when you got to share a mic with someone, does it?
No, definitely lose a bit of that.
I feel like I've regressed in my position.
Sorry, I just moved this over to you here.
Thank you. Oh, sorry. I think we just touched. But
Yeah.
I've regressed my position here at the podcast. I feel like somewhat I'm in the next room.
It's a bit like that. Yeah. You used to be like a staple of the show. I know. Boys, we're talking personal training today. I thought it'd be cool to sort of go into the journey a little bit because, I don't know, it's been quite a few years that we've been doing this gig front. I know it has for me, and I look back in the early days and it's a wild ride to think about what it was like then to what it is now. How long have you been PTing for, Paulie?
I think it's 4 years now.
Is that all?
Yeah. I think I started coaching you 5 years ago and kind of didn't really do PT until a year in. But I have a shady memory. It's about that.
It's a dad memory. Azza, how long for you?
I'll be coming up on 6 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, because I started when I came to Oz.
That's a good stint.
Yeah.
How did you get started?
As in, like, why did I move into it, sort of thing?
Yeah, like, what did you do? How'd you pick up the job?
Well, I came to Australia and I made the decision that when I came over here, I was going to change career and like try something new. So I got the qualification back at home, and then when I landed here, I just went out looking for, sent out a bunch of CVs on Seek. I was traveling at the time, so I remember when we were on the bus back to Sydney, I started getting like a few phone calls, booked in a couple of interviews, landed in Sydney. After traveling for 6 weeks, done an interview, and it was actually a 3-part interview sort of thing. But yeah, got that job, and that was my first job. That was in Maroubra.
What was the name of that place?
It was called 6X.
6X.
Yeah.
Sex.
666.
My mate used to drive back in the days when it was all about, you just finished high school and everyone's like getting cars and shit. My mate used to drive a Mazda MX-6 and he had the number plate MX Sex.
Legend.
Still has it. Still drives it too in Gladeville.
That's fucking, what's his name? You know him, Musumeci.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Shout out Anthony Musumeci. I remember he used to dance. We'd go to this club and he'd dance and he'd be like on a podium dancing and then he'd be like, MX Sex to everybody. It was like his mantra or some shit.
He was the first man I met that wore G-bangers.
and admitted to it.
Yeah.
He was a good guy. Why did you want to get into that? Like, you hadn't done it in Ireland. What made you sort of venture into PT here in Australia?
Well, I wanted to do it for a while when I was in Ireland, but I was just working another job and sort of making decent money. So I was just more like saving up money to go traveling. And then I just seen it as a good time to transition because it was just like a clean slate, new country, new beginning. Just sort of why not change everything up and, just complete change of career. So I sort of held off like diving into it until I came to Oz. And I thought the sort of activewear would go well with the weather and that type of thing. So I was like, I could see myself in some shorts, but like
it fit with the image of what you wanted Australia to be for you.
100%, yeah, yeah. So
did you know were you aware of like eastern suburbs, beach scene, Bondi?
Nah,
PT life kind of vibe.
It's funny because when I moved, no, I wasn't. When I moved to Sydney, when I went for that interview at the gym, I was living in Coogee. I was just like living in with a mate, and went to the interview, which was in Maroubra, and I was chatting to the guy, and he was like, whatever, going through the interview, and then he was like, at the end, he was like, oh, where are you living? And I was like, oh, I'm living on in Coogee on Mount Street, and he was like, oh, that's just down the road. And I had absolutely no idea of where I was, because I was like literally landed in Sydney that day. So I thought I was like much further away from where I live because I had gone to a few interviews before that. So I'd sort of done a bit of a lap around the city. But he was like, oh, you're just down the road, like 5 minutes. I was like, oh, great.
Oh, you didn't actually know you were just around the corner from home?
No, because I remember I went over to like the North Sydney. I went over there for an interview and then I came back. One of my mates that was here just sort of gave me a lift around I think I'd done maybe 4 or 5 interviews that day. And then that was the last one, which ended up just being like around the corner from where I was staying. So
mad.
Yeah, it was funny. He was like, oh, you're only down the road. I was like, oh, cool. And then ended up getting the job there. So.
And then you were there for how long until you came to Jungle Brothers?
I was there for just over 2 years.
Okay.
I've done 2 years, yeah.
How old were you at that stage when you started?
When I started, I would have been 25.
Right on.
24.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you haven't hit 30 yet?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
Damn, I must have missed that.
Mm.
When was that?
You were at my 30th.
Fuck did we? Ah, of course, it was the surprise party.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Oh man,
yeah,
Joe.
I did miss that. Fuck, crazy night, guys. Home in bed by 8:30. Loose.
Yeah, fuck, you just came to say hi.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, very cool. Paulie, your start was probably a bit different, right? Because it was kind of part of you getting into like being in this gym business and being like, oh, okay, what's the next step for me to kind of make this a career, right?
Yeah. It was a very different way to get into it. And in many ways, it only grew on me after I had already started, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I came into the business with you guys, not so much as a silent partner, but I wasn't working in the business for a number of years. And that's when I started training with you guys, training in the gym, but still working in the industry, the film industry. And then after I transitioned, I started coaching the group classes. And then I think maybe it was more like 6 months before you guys were like, all right, too comfortable there. You've got to go start PTing. You've got to start doing it. And I was nervous coming into the whole thing because fucking public speaking is a motherfucker for a lot of people, including myself. And it was really, really hard to kind of see myself as that role. Didn't actually see myself as it, but I had you guys, especially, who were like, you're going to be really good at it when you've got all the traits, and you kept on pushing me in that direction. And
stick with it, kid. Stick
with it, kid. When you say that with that moustache and that hair, I wish that we had a live video feed here. But Joey has the hair, and if you've seen his social media, he's got the full.
The hair.
What is it?
Fuck! I don't know. I really think it's like it's Lego like 70s porn star. It's like Lego Man. It's like you could just remove my hair, you could turn it around
and pop it onto Az's head.
Yeah.
And then he's got the moustache as well, which is
it's a little baby moustache. It's coming along. It's taken me weeks to get this kind of growth.
It's not a baby moustache at all.
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
Thanks. I feel a little bit inadequate about it, but I feel like the hair makes up for it.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Funny though, a lot of people like it's when you change your hair, people like the response you get from people is so varied. You get a lot of people who are like, "That's fucking awesome. I think you're a legend. Like you should totally do it," you know? And then you get people that are like, "Why? Why are you doing that?" It's almost like they're offended that you've changed the way you look.
Are you a fan of his hair or not? Which one are you?
No, I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Azza is a man of the fashion, of the style. I would expect you would appreciate it.
Yeah.
You change your shit up. You change your hair quite a bit.
I do. Yeah. 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 I like to change it up. Keep people guessing. Keep it fresh.
I feel like it's a little bit, if you look back and over the last, let this be a lesson to everyone listening out there. If you look back over the last 5 years and you've never changed your hair, I think that's a little bit depressing. It's like you're missing an opportunity to express, to be creative in just one small aspect of your life or your appearance.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I
was going to say diet then your dogs.
I'm not black, bro. It looks better when you're black.
Remember, I shaved my head.
You did.
I shaved my head a while back because I'd never really changed my hair too much up until that point. But I shaved my head because I was like, well, if I go bald one day, I want to feel comfortable with the fact that I might go bald one day. So I was like, I'm just going to shave it all off, see what I look like. And then hopefully I don't look too bad. And then I'll feel a bit better about
Oh, yeah. That's mad.
So I shaved it off and I didn't look too bad. So
shaved it like zero with the clippers or razor?
Yeah, like a zero with the clippers. Yeah, I actually used, it was funny because my hair was short enough at the time, but then I used like a beard trimmer and it was a hack job. It was really bad. Yeah, it kept getting I got my flat, it kept getting jammed. My flatmate done it. It took us about 3 hours to get through the whole thing. It's so funny. Yeah.
What did we do to your hair, Paul, when we cut your dreads off? Did you shave it? Was it a shaved head that you had?
Yeah. Yeah, we shaved it. Might have just been a one. But yeah, it was shaved. Because you had to cut it off first and then...
It was Paulie. It was New Year's Eve at my place at Bondi, wasn't it?
Correct.
Paulie sitting on the half pipe, which was in our living room. And it was a saga. People hacking at your hair to get those fucking dreads off. Like it was a multi-stage process. It wasn't like you just don't clip that shit.
Yeah, you got to scissor it. Yeah, you had to scissor it a fair bit before the razors could even be effective. But that was a great night.
Great night. Tell me, with the PT thing, I guess it's worth mentioning for folks listening that for our business, it was always it was strategic for us to have PT as well as running the gym, because when you run a gyms, like if you've got 3 owners in the gym, you don't make a huge amount of money. It's very hard to generate a full-time wage for 3 owners who are working full-time in this gym. But let me put that another way. It's hard to generate 3 full-time wages. You can generate 2, you can generate 1 really good one or 2 really good ones. But so we recognize, I think at a point that it was never going to be the thing for all of us. So personal training becomes like this other thing that you can do that allows you to make more money each week. And I think in that way, it has to be, it's very easy to kind of, I know for me, after having done it for so many years, it can be easy to look down on it a bit and be like, oh, fuck, I'm sick of PT. And I got to admit, when someone says, what do? I don't say, I'm a personal trainer. Like it's not a job that I'm hugely excited by. But when I look at what it is, where you can work with someone and you can work with people that you really like, you get to spend good time with them, help them with their training, teach them things, and you get paid really well for it. And it helps to remove the pressure off your business so that like multiple people can grow within it at the one time. It's quite an incredible tool to have at your disposal.
Yeah. I really enjoy it now. And, I'd still say that I'm kind of a young PT and you're like, man, shut up. You've been PTing for ages. But I say that mainly because I still feel like I'm growing, I guess. And yeah, I've been enjoying it more and more every year so far. But yeah, it's also a service that comes with the gym business as well. Because a lot of people coming to the gym aren't ready for group training, so to speak, and a lot of people have individual goals. Yeah, it's a really kind of special thing to do. Helping people, and it's often not just the training, is it? It's getting to know them, and it's all the other. There's all the other things, psychological, families. Basically, you're a clinical psychologist, 5 days a week, 6.
That's right.
Yep,
Tackle anything.
pretty much.
Tell me your problems. I'll help you out.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's got to be up there with bartender in terms of helping people deal with their shit. Like you
Just two different approaches.
That's right. Yeah. And then sometimes
Let's
you're
drink
like,
this.
fuck it, let's just go to the bar. Tell me about, as in your beginning journey, and Paul, I'll ask you the same question. Tell me about some of the inadequacies you had some of the fuck ups that you made. Undoubtedly, when you're getting into this thing as a young person, and you do get launched into it pretty quickly. Like the education process is not all that rigorous here in Australia.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of the, some of the less impressive parts of the journey.
The one that would stick out is like when I first started, just being really eager to impress and probably rushing people along a little bit just to probably make myself feel better and make them feel a little like, as in, maybe moving them on to a progression or through a progression a little bit quicker than I should have, or just so that they would feel like they're making progress. So that was definitely something that I found myself doing a bit early on, just because I was like, oh, well, we can't stay on this. Like if we were doing whatever, like if we were working on a push up or something, like I'd be looking to just make that harder as quickly as possible, rather just so that they're like, oh, I've progressed and now I'm doing this thing, like I'm doing a dip now instead of a push up or whatever, even though they might not have been quite ready to move to that movement. That's something I found myself doing early on, because I was just worried about maybe I was like, oh, this guy mightn't think I'm that good if he can't see progress. So I was a little bit keen to impress, I think, and I've done that a few times. That's one of the standout things. And then just being, another thing is like just overcomplicating programs and just overthinking it. That's a big one.
I remember writing massive fucking programs. Because you're just like, I got to address everything I know about training in this 1 hour session. Which is absurd because you just you don't get half it done anyway, but it's just like a mess.
And then so that was they're the two big ones for me, I'd say, that I'd done early on, like in the first year anyway. Definitely done that a bit. Like nothing bad came of it, but I could have. It was just I didn't have confidence in my method, I suppose, and I was like, oh, they want to feel like they want to see progress here. I have to sort of I felt under pressure to show them that progress. Yeah, right. Yeah.
So it was really about trying to express to them how good you are by being able to excite the shit out of them at every session.
Yeah, and keep things moving along. Keep things fresh, not letting things go stale, and a bit of that. Just probably just over eager, I would say.
Yeah. What about you, Paulie?
Thinking about it now, bit of that happened for sure. But as I was saying, I think that
a lot of spreadsheet redesigns for you. I feel.
Oh, so many
new templates.
So many. Yeah. Oh fuck! How long do you spend on programs in the beginning?
Fucking hell! Trying to get the perfect spreadsheet.
The perfect one.
Got to put the borders here. Got to color this cell.
Yep. Yes.
And then I like this cell to be bold, but this one not bold.
I still do a bit of that because I love spreadsheets in general. I'm a lot quicker at it.
It's in you.
But you see every little thing that's in the movement screen, and you want to have one exercise at least for each one of those.
Have you ever operated without a movement screen? There's a question. Because I fucking have.
I had some good tutelage, so I had movement screens from the beginning. I remember.
Which is for folks, that's like an assessment you would do with someone when they first come to the gym.
Yeah, and so I was lucky, and I learnt that in the course and everything, and I was aware of that. But I think in the past I've probably taken on someone and skipped the movement screen as well because I kind of know them, and yeah, it just you end up having to screen them as you go anyway, and the progress is slow, sure. But I think one of the things that stands out to me that I really wasn't across in the beginning was providing a good context for the person and telling them hard truths. Basically, I found it really difficult to do that at the beginning. So, the truths thing was just like, I'm always, me, like eager to please and, make everything fun and cool. So everything was cool, but you're not really being an effective coach that way, because you need to tell them that this isn't so great, and this deficiency that they have is quite serious, and it could have some bad ramifications down the line. Or when it comes to nutrition, lifestyle habits, and having to cross the lines out of the gym into the other areas, I didn't touch that for a long time, just because I just found it awkward to cross, but it ends up being like really powerful later on.
Do you think that's a bit of a confidence thing, or is it just a desire to please? You don't want to rock the boat, so you're like, oh no, that's fine, kind of.
Yeah, and also I didn't really know. I think some of it you just need some experience in it, and the more clients you have, the more you kind of see that works, and the more you're like, oh, that, bridging that little awkward gap there helped a lot with that person, so it gives you permission to ask the next person up front about it. Okay, I don't know how many drinks is that? Okay, so is that with friends? And you might go deeper into that, because what's going to help them in the gym physically might be there on that side of their life, and you can scratch back into that in the movement screen if you really go for it, and you kind of set that from the beginning, that like, hey, we're going to be talking on this level whenever we're together, So I think I was just eager to please at the beginning, and it was like, I got this program, let's just do the thing in the gym and just do the programs, but inevitably you don't get as efficient a result, or if any type of thing, and you potentially lose that person. You just don't serve them as well.
Yeah. It's funny thinking about, you started in Jungle Brothers where, and it was early days for us, but we already had a lot of systems in place that for you were just like taken as gospel. It's like, you do a movement screen when someone starts.
Yeah.
I remember when I started PT, I didn't even understand the concept of a movement screen or an intro session or anything like that. All I knew was you try and find someone on the gym floor and you give them a free session, and in the free session you try and beast them so that they're fucking wrecked, and they're like, oh, it was so awesome, I want to pay you to do it again. And then you're like, got him. That was what I knew. That was like the formula. And I remember I had I wonder if I told this story on the podcast before. God, it still makes me cringe. A guy came in, I was working at Anytime Fitness, guy comes in, young dude, worked in hospitality, like it's probably about, I don't know, probably would have been like mid-20s or something. Not a real gym looking guy, like kind of like a surfy sort of looking dude. And he's like, oh man, like I want to get fit and start training, and was like hyper motivated. And I'm like, yeah, man, I can help you out. Like I'm frothing on the inside, because I'm like, oh my God, like this guy wants to do like a session a week kind of thing, which is a big deal when you're starting. You're kind of just sitting around fucking on your phone the whole time. And he said, could you train me now? Could we start right now? And I'm like, man, fucking A, we can start right now. Grab that barbell over there. Let's rip in. So, of course, I'm like, I'm going to take this guy through what I'm doing. So I'm like, we're doing barbell work. I was doing a bunch of CrossFit at the time, heaps of deadlifts and Olympic lifting. And so I'm like, well, that's what we're going to do. And we're using this. I'd been training with this kind of barbell kind of weightlifting coach, and he always just had us do this standard barbell warm-up. We used to use it in the gym where it's like empty bar, 5 deadlifts, 5 front squat, overhead press, back squat. I think that was it, 2 or 3 rounds of that kind of thing. It's good, like as a general kind of thing. And the guy says to me, he grabs a bar, brings it over. He's like, oh man, just thought I'd let you know, I got a bit of a dicky shoulder. I've dislocated it a bunch of times, but it's good now. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, do you feel like is there anything that you want to avoid? He's like, no, I'm good. Okay, cool, let's go. So I'm like, mate, grab the bar, we'll just do a little warm-up and then we'll get into it. So get me 5 deadlifts. Now do a deadlift. Yep, that looks pretty good. It's good enough. Yeah, and then you can put the bar here, 5 front squats. Cool, and then overhead press for 5, and then put on your back. And he's like, okay, no worries. And the guy does the thing, and it's all, it's not whatever, it's fine. As he moves from the overhead press to bring the bar down onto his back, his fucking shoulder pops out.
Oh my God.
And the guy's like, oh shit, oh my shoulder's gone. Take the bar.
Oh no.
Oh fuck, I feel terrible. And I'm in the middle of the gym, right? It's a pretty small gym, and this poor guy's like, take the bar. I take the bar, and he's like, oh fuck, my shoulder's out. And I'm like, oh Jesus Christ, like I don't know what to do, right? Clint Hill, good friend, been on the show before. Shout out to Clint if you're listening. He was my PT manager. This was at the gym, and like he was the boss at the PTs. And I'm like, oh Clint, fuck, man, this dude's shoulders just popped out. Clint's like, man, I've put heaps of shoulders back in, because he comes from a rugby union strength conditioning background. So he's worked with a lot of injuries on the sidelines and stuff. So it's like, I can sort it out. It's like, just grab a bench. Yep, get me that bench. Put the bench here. Okay, old mate. Yep. Lie down on the bench. There's like some drill where you can like relocate the shoulder. Anyways, trying to relocate this thing for like 10, 15 minutes, and it won't pop back in. Turns out the guy's dislocated his shoulder like 10 times in the past. So his joint's just super lax. Anyway, he's in like a lot of pain while all this is going on. And I'm just like, oh, I fucked up. Anyway, I call the only option was, mate, you're going to have to call an ambulance for this guy. We can't get his shoulder in. Ambulance comes, dude fucking takes off. The guy paid me. I think the guy paid for like a handful of sessions. Oh my God. And I didn't even get his number. That's how fast I moved through the whole thing. I didn't even have his phone number. He was off at hospital. Never saw him again.
Fuck. Felt the cash.
Well, I was like, I hope that guy comes back. But I had no contact for the guy. He didn't even fill out a waiver. It was just cowboy shit. And I'm like, looking back at that now, it is so irresponsible. But at the time, it was just what was going on. He just strolled into the gym, wanted to get started. I was like, yeah, let's go. Barbell warm up, go douche. Awful.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So let that be a lesson to those out there. Mate, you don't want that to happen. God, I still feel terrible for that guy. I hope he's been successful with his training journey since. But that could have scarred, like in reality, that could have scarred him from the whole training experience for a long time.
Fucking hell. I'd feel horrible. I could not handle that on my, yeah. You said that you had a...
Yeah, I had a...
Because we're talking about worst experiences now, right?
Yeah, I had a bad one. It wasn't so funny. It was more brutal. Like that was brutal, but it was a bit funny as well.
How bad is it going to be?
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine. I was training at the old gym, and
your old gym or our old gym?
The one in Maroubra.
Oh yep.
Yeah, and
Sex fitness.
Yeah. Sex, health, and fitness. So I was training this girl. She's actually a doctor. She's like an elderly, sort of maybe probably late 40s. So
I'm going to be 40 in a couple of years, bro.
Yeah, that's why I made sure I said late 40s. I was going to say mid-40s for a sec. I was like, oh, better not. Oldie sitting beside me here. No, so she was about late 40s, maybe touching 50. And but she was really fit and really capable. And I'd been training her for a little while. And we were working on front levers, right?
Of course.
Yeah. All right. Because she wanted to do the body weight thing. Like that's why she started training with me, is she wanted to get into this style of training or explore it a little bit. So we were doing a front lever on the bar, and it was grand. And then so she was holding her front lever or whatever. And it wasn't the first time she'd done it. And what she'd done was she held it for whatever length of time, and she was coming down.
She was in a tuck or something?
Yeah, she was in a tuck, yeah. She was like doing a tuck front lever. And then she sort of maybe went a little bit too long, as in like maybe held it for 20 seconds. And she probably should have held it for 12 or 15. And so she was pretty tired by the end of that rep, and she came down. And the way normally if you're coming out of a front lever, you would just sort of like pop down onto the ground, like you'd sort of lower your legs and then you'd sort of land on your feet and walk out of it. So what she done was she came down but didn't extend her legs, or she did extend her legs but a little bit too late. So instead of her feet hitting the floor, her legs continued to go back, and then she face planted onto the floor. And it was the scariest. It was probably the scariest thing. Like, I shat myself. Because I was standing behind her, and the noise off it, she hit the ground with her teeth, like with her face, yeah.
Oh.
Like straight onto the ground, and she didn't move initially. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, I went over to see, I was like, and then she sort of stood up, and there was blood on her, there was blood all over her mouth. And I was like, oh my God, she's like broken her nose, smashed her teeth, all the rest. And yeah, it was so scary. But then it turned out that it wasn't that bad. I don't know how. Like, I don't know how it wasn't worse. But I think she just like, yeah, I don't even think she like lost a tooth or anything like that. It was just like she cut the inside of her, or like her, like above her front teeth. She cut her gum. Oh no, what happened was her tooth went through her lip. That's what happened. So it burst the lip, and that's where the blood was coming from.
Right.
But her nose was good, her teeth were good. And yeah, that was
poor thing.
Yeah, it was terrible. Yeah. Yeah.
But I can only imagine it would have been like a slingshot action.
Oh, it was
because she would come down because you got all this like ab tension.
Yeah.
And then the legs would have like swung back, and she probably
yeah. Like, it's one of those ones that still sends shivers down my spine because it was the noise of it, and there was a bit of momentum there, and then I can still remember that she was just lying like that on the floor face down for probably about 4 seconds before everyone was just like, oh shit. And then went over, and she was fine, like, but that was a bad one.
Fuck.
I was wondering why you wear a mouth guard whenever you train front levers. Now I know.
I get all my clients to
and
as well.
I vowed from that day forward, never again.
And she never came back and trained with me after that.
Never.
Nah, she came back into the gym and like done her own thing. But yeah, I think she was a bit scared after that one. But we like talked, and like we didn't, we still talked and stuff. But yeah, she took a while off, and I think that wasn't like too long before I left that gym. But yeah, that was a shocker.
Oh yes,
doesn't get much worse than that, really. Like, well, it does. She could have like broke her nose and all that, but it was bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah.
Paulie, care to share?
No, I don't have anything.
Don't have anything?
No, I'll definitely
doesn't want to tarnish his perfect record.
No, there was a group training incident which I'll share briefly. But no, PT wise, strained back.
Nothing major.
Yeah, nothing major. Maybe shouldn't have gone up too heavy, like those sorts of things, but nothing as spectacular as those two stories. But I did have that incident very early on when we were in this gym and it just opened up, and I had a lady blow her Achilles in my warm-up. Do you remember?
I do remember.
Yeah.
I do remember.
I felt so bad. Felt so bad for that lady because and later on I would learn when I blew my own Achilles, maybe the following year, can't quite remember the timeline, like how bad that is. But at the time it looked freaking horrible, and she was in excruciating pain. She was extremely tough. I think she might have been Irish. She was a real tough nurse, and she kept on telling me that she was fine. She was absolutely fine, but she was just with pain in her face and quivering in her lips. I'm fine. I'm just bringing my daughter's going to pick me up, and I could just see it. And the ankle itself looked just horrible. It was it was just blew up, and we helped her out. And anyway, it's a bit of a scene.
That's awful. And that was, I suppose to give it a bit of context, that was one of those. We did identify there were things that could have contributed to it in terms of what was happening in the class at the time.
Yeah.
But it was also it was just a freak accident.
Yeah, it was an accident.
And it's one of those things that unfortunately can happen in the training environment, like you blowing your Achilles, which wasn't in here. But that shit just does happen. Me tearing my ACL, it was like, wasn't anything I was doing, that I could have done differently to be safer in that at that time. It's just what happened. However, for Azza and I, there's totally things we could have done differently. Looking back, it's like, yeah, fuck. If I had have had a proper introductory process to take a new client, get to know them, do a movement screen, onboard them into the style of training, and actually assess their injuries, not just ask him, oh, what have you done? The guy's like, oh, I blew my shoulder. And then for me to go, oh, well, let's do an overhead press into a back squat. Like, you know, now I would know, well, if they've got a shoulder problem, you're not going to have them overhead pressing and then putting a bar behind their head. Yeah, like that is just ridiculous. Your one maybe is also a little bit of a, like that's, yeah, like, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Like in hindsight, definitely stuff I could have done. Like I could have made sure that she, you know, knew, but it wasn't her first time doing it. Like she had come out of it, I don't know, a bunch of times before, like no problem. But it was, so it was a little bit of a freak accident. Yeah, but still, like I actually, at the time, I didn't even see that as a possibility, you know? Like just missing the floor with your feet and continuing to rotate. Like, yeah, I didn't even see it as like a danger.
I don't think you could replicate that again.
Nah.
Like it sounds like a freak incident.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Poor thing.
So I guess like, you know, the couple of things there for us, like talking about having an onboard process and having an introductory thing. These are obviously for a personal trainer coming into the game. That is what we would now consider like non-negotiable and absolute essential item.
Yeah. Is
to have some kind of process that you follow. We don't need to go into the details of that because we do that in other podcasts and that's a thing. But it's interesting how I don't know whether it's the state of the industry at the time when we got into it, or if it's just kind of the nature of the game that sometimes you can be oblivious to these things. And then it's not until someone tells you, hey, do you have like an onboarding process that you use? And it might not be until someone asks that you're like, oh no, fuck, I never did. You know, I think that it saves you so much trouble. Like you were saying, Paulie, with your programming and shit, it just sets it off on the right foot. It saves the person, the client, from potentially getting injured or anything like that. Like it makes sure that they start the journey in the most responsible and kind of, you know, safe way.
Yeah.
But the other thing that it does, which I think is often overlooked, is that it makes them buy into the training process with you to a much higher degree because there's like this barrier to entry. You're not able to just come and start training with me. If you want to train with me, you have to jump through these hoops, which are we sit down and talk, we go through all these movements, I ask you a bunch of questions, do some tests. And then once we've gotten through that, which whatever, it might be 30 minutes, it might be 3 hours of work over a few sessions, then we can start the training. And for people starting out, if you make people jump through some hoops, you know, in a responsible and kind of caring way like that, it usually makes them stick around for longer.
Yeah.
I feel like looking back at the beginning, I had a lot of clients come and go. Whereas now, no one does that. Like I think my processes around coaching and also the vibe that I put out just only invites people who are going to stick around for a little while.
Yeah. That was kind of what I was talking about with what I think I was doing wrong at the beginning, for sure. And just jumping into the process. Yeah, I had a movement screen, but you know, I just got a program and we were just kind of training. It was a very short-sighted way of looking at things, if you know what I mean. And yeah, I did part with a few people in the early days for sure. But now my screen and that whole screening process, which, you know, you're always screening, I guess, whenever you're training them. But so yeah, in the first getting to know them kind of month or so, and especially that first screen, I've made it more rigorous than ever before in those other areas that that are not to do with training. But yeah, just having it really rigorous. I mean, you're getting to know them intimately, and if you're looking at training, you're talking health, and if you're talking health, you're talking lifestyle, sleep, food, stresses, and all those other factors. So I just find, getting to know all the intimate details, one, helps you to serve them better and get to what you need to get to earlier. And two, it's that, like you said, it's the buy into the process. It's like, oh shit, he wants to know all of that and how old my kids are and all that sort of thing. Oh yeah, fuck, that is really relevant to what we're doing here. So you're both on a mission from the outset, and it just works really well.
You know, just thinking back, like there's a real difference in obviously the culture, say here at our gym, versus when I was working in Anytime Fitness in the city, in terms of the personal training piece. it's really hyper competitive over there. And we've spoken about this before with T. He worked in Fitness First, where it was like crazy competitive. They got this huge crew of personal trainers who are all competing. So any new members to the gym that are on the floor are like, it's feeding time, and the PTs are out there trying to nab clients.
I would destroy them right now.
You think?
I would fucking destroy them right now.
But here's the thing. I mean, I think you would have a good chance.
I've never been there,
But the thing is that people the culture being as it is starts to cultivate a certain attitude amongst the clients, or the potential clients, the members of the gym, where they're like, oh, well, I'll do a session with you and then I'm going to try you next time. And I remember coaching people who are like, I want to try a session with you. I've trained with so-and-so and what can you offer me kind of thing.
Yuck.
And you're like, well, I can offer you, let's do overhead press into back squat. It's going to be great. As a shoulder, like I'd be like, oh, I can do the crazy shit. Check this out. We're going to do the burpees, then you're on the treadmill, then fucking, try not to die. And they'll be like, that session was electric. But like, you get caught up in this thing. I remember training a guy who like that, and he was like, and it was like I was competing against these other personal trainers who I didn't know to get him as a client. And he's like I'm just fucking beasting this dude. I'm just like, I'm going to give this guy an hour of pain. There is no rest periods. It is, I don't give a fuck what it is. We're doing it. And I'm like,
what it is.
And I'm like, and this guy's like dying. He was a big, strong, he was from Fitness First Darlinghurst, big bear looking guy, was like bald with the big beard, tight little shorts. And he's like, I've had all the personal trainers and what can you do? And anyway, so I'm laying it all out there and he's like dying in the middle and he's like, oh, this is the best session. He's like, I'm retaining you for sure. Oh, I'm retaining you. And I'm like, shut up and give me more burpee. Yeah, that was the word he was using. And I'm like, sick, I'm going to get paid. And, but it was like, but just thinking about that whole, like now I'd be like, mate, shut up. Like, I'd be like, hey, fucking slow down, relax. And if you can't, I'm not the trainer for you. You should go train with.
Absolutely.
I'll send you to whoever because there's plenty of coaches that want to do that. Yeah. My outlook now is so different. Like I would never play that game, and we don't have anything like that here. Did you ever experience anything like that as at MX6?
Not like that. Like sort of, not in the same way because it wasn't. We weren't working for ourselves within the business. We were working for the gym. So we got clients sort of given to us, but the culture in there was to smash people. Like, by default, they were all 30-minute sessions. I think it was based roughly on the Vision model,
Yep.
Lots of volume through the gym, 30-minute sessions, get in, get a sweat on, get as much work in as you can, and then next person.
Yeah.
And so there was definitely like I felt like when I went in there, a lot of the coaches and even the owner of the gym in there was just beasting everyone. And that was like his thing, literally, like exactly like you said, like no rest times, just standing over the person all the time, just trying to squeeze every ounce of energy out of them.
My man.
And I wasn't like that at all. I was lucky, like the PT school I went to was very, like they were very heavy on the practical side of coaching and the technical side of it, and they put a big emphasis on like quality and setting high standards and being a good coach. And so when I went in there, I was like, I brought that with me. And
what PT school was that? Because that sounds exceptional.
It was the Elite, what was it called? Elite Sports and Fitness Academy in Blackrock in Dublin.
Okay, right on.
Yeah. So it was really, really good. And they churn out lots of good PTs. Like they're very good. But so there was a bit of that, but I didn't fall too much into it. But maybe a little bit early days. But then when I sort of settled in a bit, I was able to, because there was no pressure to like get clients. I had clients, sort of given to me, or I have the opportunity to like sit down with a client and try and sell them onto a membership. So yeah, there wasn't like that pressure like you had.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing. Just that one change from the way that the gym runs it, whereby employees are, assigned to a PT session. That removes the competitive aspect. Not to say that that's the only way to do that, because here it's like every PT is for themselves, but we still don't have that competitive aspect. It's just a different vibe.
Yeah.
But it is interesting, how the culture that the establishment sets can determine what the experience is like down on that members level.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paul, you never fucked with anything like that. Did you ever feel that drive to like beast people and show them how fucking hard it could be and why they needed to keep paying you?
Not like the way you described that. I'll never forget that image of a big bear in tight shorts saying, "I'm retaining you now," in between burpees, gasping for air. "I'm retaining you.
I'm retaining you." Never heard from him again, by the way. He probably left and had a heart attack. But that's the absurdity of it, is that for all that, there was no business to be had.
Yeah.
It's a funny thing. I mean, I'd like to think that it's changed in that commercial scene somewhat since then, but I got no fucking idea. I haven't set foot in one of those gyms for so long. Who actually knows?
I hope it's changed,
Yeah, I hope so too. It should have evolved.
But no, I just thought for the listeners, I do beast people though.
In a responsible
way when the time's right, for sure. When it's part of what we're doing, I will beast them. And just for the members, if they're listening, it's beast season. New bodyweight program starts next week. And yeah, I'm turning up the flames.
What month is it right now?
Grovember. And sorry to steal your line there, but as dropped that one on us when walking up to the coffee shop. Never heard it before. It was original. You came up with that.
Yeah.
It was great.
He's a real wordsmith.
Yeah.
So here's another one. Here's another area that I was just completely blind to when starting, that I think is super important, that we now probably take for granted again, like all these things, which is taking payments from the person, having a system for transacting with them. And a system starts with like them asking you like, okay, how do we do this? And you being able to say, oh, well, these are my terms. This is how I like to work. This is how you're going to pay me. This is how much I charge. Here are my packages or my prices or whatever. I had none of that shit in the beginning. I remember people saying to me, and this was the same with the Jungle Brothers classes that I was running in the park, where it was like, people would come down, they'd do it, like someone referred them, they'd come try a class. Oh, that was fucking awesome, like at the end of class. That was so awesome. And I'd be like, great, do you want to join? And they'd be like, I do. How do I join? And I'd be like, well, when you get home, jump on our website, junglebrothers.com, and sign up there, and then I'll see you at training tomorrow. And they'd be like, okay. And I'd never see them again. And for the longest time, I'm like, man, these people just don't want it. Like,
Wakey.
Yeah, what the fuck? I thought we had a good time. And same thing with the PT aspect. I remember coaching people. We'd do a free session, right? I'd beast them. It'd go well. They would want to retain my services. And they'd be like, how can I pay you? And I'd be like, don't worry about it. We can figure that out later. Let's just get you booked in. When am I going to see you next? All right, see you then. And it would be like, I don't know. I'm sure there's like hundreds of sessions I ran where I just didn't get paid for it because I never had a fucking system to do it, which is absurd, right? Because as we know, it's really nice that these people, that a bunch of people might have got free sessions. But as we know, people value something that they pay for. So by getting them to pay for the sessions, they bring more focus and more dedication to the session because they're like, I've paid for this, there's money attached to it, which means they get what they came there for. So it is, whatever your views around like helping people and asking for money in exchange are, it's actually a really integral part of the whole process of them being successful.
I've known that from the start because I was taught well, but I still like fucked up actually implementing it from time to time.
Just lagging with...
Yeah, just lagging.
Send me the invoice.
Yeah, being a bit unorganized or, based on the personality of the person. It's not an easy sale or an easy walk through the process or not fully bought in before I've met them. Then you kind of like don't want to cross that line and mention it and make it a little awkward. Because I've don't
want to rock that boat.
Yeah, and I've in the past I've been pretty crap with conversations about money, and actually a lot of people are, sure, especially when you're in that space where you're helping them, as you said. So yeah, I have messed that up in the past.
Yeah, it's probably the same for a lot of young PTs starting out. I think it's just because, you know, you're obviously, it goes back to that thing of being eager to impress, and you're eager to get some clients and some paying clients under your belt, but you're trying to give off the vibe that you know, aren't stuck for cash, and you're busy, and you're just like, yeah, you know, we'll just sort that out whenever, like just let's get you booked in, and then we'll figure the rest out later. So it's probably just a little bit of that, trying to play it cool,
Bit of a flex.
and being unprofessional at the same time, because you should have those things in place, you know, if you're a legit business, like it's just standard procedure. So but yeah, I'd say like a lot of PTs starting out don't have that stuff from the get-go. And just sort of pick it up as they go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm blown away that it was actually never once mentioned in the PT course that I did, which I did quite a good one with some fucking Institute of Fitness or something. Yeah, in North Sydney. It was expensive in relation to all of the courses that were on offer. So I'm like, oh, this one's good, you know. But there was no mention of that. And so it's kind of, it's wild that you can end up equipped, apparently, to go and start in this industry, yet no one has spoken to you about one of the most basic functions of a business, which is to be able to process a transaction between customer and business.
Yeah.
Do you think that thing where you don't want to bring it up it's like partly you don't want to show that you're stuck for cash kind of thing, like you're not trying to give off that vibe, but you also have your own reservations about money, and you're kind of projecting that onto the situation?
Yeah, definitely. I think, well, for me anyway, like when I started, I had no experience in sales, like, you know, one-on-one, face-to-face sales. So yeah, anytime it came to, just when it comes around to that time in the conversation where there's that exchange, you're just trying to, like Paul said, you don't want to rock the boat, so to speak, and you're just trying to, because it tends to always happen at the end of the conversation as well. So you're just trying to, I guess, finish the conversation on a smooth kind of level, and worry about that later. So and at the end of the day, like, people pay a lot of money to train with us, and I think it takes a while to sort of, maybe at the start you maybe don't quite value yourself that much, and there's a bit of hesitancy asking for the money.
What's your system now? I know you do it a little bit differently to what I do, and I'm not sure what Paul does. How do you charge your people?
How do I charge them? I when someone signs up, I offer them direct debit. So I set them up on a direct debit, and they get charged the Friday before that next week. So if they are doing 2 sessions a week, that payment comes out on a Friday, sort of like Thursday midnight, Friday morning, for the week ahead, so that they're in credit for those sessions. Yeah. And then and that's like to give myself a bit of protection, and also so that they're committed to the sessions as well, because they've already paid for them. So, and then if there's, I have like a 24-hour cancellation policy, which is pretty standard across the industry, I think. And so if someone cancels late, obviously I don't do it all the time, but if someone cancels late for whatever reason, then they get charged for that session. Yeah.
I like that. I think that's super neat. I mean, it's the same as how we run memberships in the gym, isn't it? It's clean. There's no maintenance. It just happens automatically.
Yep. Yeah, correct.
What do you do, Paulie?
Look, I don't have that many clients at all at the moment. Just with COVID and, running the gym and stuff.
Not trying to sound desperate or anything.
So if you need training.
Yeah. Don't reach out.
But I've got my core group, and it's pay up front in blocks. So they play direct debit, and I've got quite a good relationship with all the people that I've got. So they direct debit into the account in credit, the same way that as does. But next year, I'm changing my model to direct debit, at least for part of my business, the small group part of it. Yep.
Yeah, nice. You're going to run that through the Alliance software?
That's the plan.
Boosh,
Hell
boosh.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I want to use that too. That's the piece of software we're building, which is part of the Jungle Alliance. I'm the same. I want to do that because it's if you don't have a direct debit thing, then there at least it means that there's going to be more admin on your end, doesn't it? Yep. I've got I invoice people, but I invoice them at the start of the month, and it works pretty well. But I have to do it at the beginning of the month. Sit down and do my invoices, and send them out. And whatever, if for some reason it's busy and I don't get to it, and sometimes it's like, oh fuck, I'm late on the invoices, and then you're like chasing old ones, and whereas a direct debit just takes all of that out of the equation, doesn't it?
Yeah, and for me, when I started here was when I started, working for myself. I didn't have a direct debit system in place for the first, I don't know, maybe 4 months or something like that, and it created a lot of like stress for me, like financially, just with the way that the way that the money was coming in. Like it wasn't clear how much I was earning. Like I was busy, so I was like, I'm doing like lots of sessions here, but sometimes it would feel like I wasn't making much money at all, and I was like, fuck, when's this? Like I must be due. Like when's this gonna come in? It's coming. I just don't know when. And then some weeks I'd get like a bunch of payments, and I'd be it'd be great, and then the next week it's like very little, and there was no consistency to it.
Call the boys.
So it was.
We got paid.
Yeah, we going out tonight. Yeah. So putting a direct debit system in place just got rid of all that stress, and I know now what I'm earning each week, which is great. That's the way I like to have it, so I can get all my stuff in order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, the cash flow thing is a real consideration, isn't it?
Yeah, it was terrible at the start, yeah.
And I think for folks listening, it's like you got to figure out what works for you.
Yeah.
I never wanted to switch to say what you do as in the past, because I never wanted to tie myself in that. Like I've been very non-committal with my PT in recent years. So I like being able to go, oh, hey guys, like I'm not going to be here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'll just knock it off your next invoice, and I can just like fix it up on the fly. Whereas if I was like going super solid and going, I'm going to make this a focus of my work, then I think I would definitely switch to something. I would have switched to something like that sooner.
Yeah.
Talk to me about this epidemic part of PT life, which is coaching all the fucking time, taking sessions in the morning, sessions in the night, and then being exhausted as fuck and running yourself into the ground. I would argue that this is perhaps one of the most common sort of downsides to PT life, and one of the things that probably makes most personal trainers quit, because they burn out, and then that kind of flows onto them not running a successful business, and then they ultimately just go, this isn't working for me. Have you guys gone through that stage?
Yeah, I have definitely gone through that stage. I feel like I'm probably still a little bit in that stage, if I'm honest. I still do quite a bit, and I still do I do split shifts every day. But it's gotten better, as in when I started, I was doing 30-minute sessions as by default, and I might have 10 sessions of a morning, which is crazy. And then I'd be back in that evening doing maybe, 5 or 6 more.
Wow.
30-minute sessions. So that was really, really hard. Whereas now my day might look like 3, maybe 4 sessions in the morning with a break in between, the 2 sessions. With a break in the middle. And then it would be maybe 3 sessions in the evening or something like that. So yeah, it's much more condensed. Like I've scheduled it nicely, so it's like very manageable. So I sort of come in, get the morning shift done within sort of 4 hours, and then I'm back in the evening for 2 or 3 sessions, which is, it's definitely, sometimes I feel tired. Like sometimes I feel like it's probably a little bit too much. But yeah, I struggle with that a bit, because I feel like it's not a very hard job to do, like at least physically. I don't know. I'm probably it's an old school way of thinking for me. But yeah, I'm like, you could be working, I don't know, like as a laborer or something, where you're just like working physically hard all day, every day. And so if I'm only doing, say, 4 hours, like if I was to just do what some PTs do, which is work just a morning shift and have more time to myself, I just feel a little bit, like I could be doing more with my, yeah. I battle with that all the time, but I've definitely gotten better at it, but I wouldn't say I'm great at it yet.
You're not out of the woods yet.
Nah.
I guess to paint the picture, you're probably also, I think you've been intentionally hustling a bit
Yeah.
You know, you headed back home at some point soon.
Yeah, that's the thing as well.
I got your little girl, like.
Yeah. And that was my mindset coming over here, was like to come over for, well, initially a year, but it was to come over, work hard, make some money, you know, save up a little bit, and then go home, which I'm going to be doing soon. But yeah, it's just 6 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm still working hard, but like I like to work hard and I like to be busy, and I love what I do as well. So it's not like I'm like, when I have to come back into the gym in the evening, I'm never dragging myself to come back, or I'm never like, oh, I wish I didn't. Maybe the odd time, but like not really. Like I'm happy to come back and hang out at the gym and do a few sessions, and like it's I feel very lucky to do what I do for work. But having said that, I have noticed like recently that I'm at the stage now in my business where I should be starting to take a step back and start to take the next step in the business, but myself take a little step back from coaching and start to work more on the business. If that's what I would need to do if I was to take Move Strong to the next level, whatever that may be, like my own space or whatever, or online or whatever it is. But I would need to step away from coaching in order to do that. The only reason I haven't done that is because I'm going to be moving home next year. So I'm sort of like, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, you know, pretty much up until I go home, because when I go home, it's going to be the start of the next chapter then. Which,
and that all makes sense. I suppose there's also the case that if you didn't want to change anything, you wouldn't have to, right? Like you're saying, like you enjoy it, you feel very lucky to do it, you make good money. It's like we know people who are just like lifelong PTs.
Yeah,
you know, and for some of them, they're like, I fucking love it, I don't want it to change.
Yeah,
and that's mad. But yeah, you know, if you do have desires to open your own gym or expand in some way, whether, you know, digital, personal, whatever, then I guess you have to eventually make some decisions around moving away from the coaching piece, don't you?
Yeah.
What about you, brah?
What about me?
You are a little bit different for you because you got a lot on your plate in terms of classes at the gym.
Oh, yep.
But you get a bit of
schedule-wise.
But yeah, you got a bit of like early morning PT and then classes at 9 and shit.
Yeah. No, that's not ideal. I'm still in that stage. Just with the way that the gym's set up, I'm on the floor in the evenings. And I enjoy, I love the energy of the evenings, and those are the classes. Like, I want to be around all the members and stuff and be on the pulse in the evenings and that sort of thing. But at the same time, and I think it's kind of the nature of the fucking job. Like, there is morning time to train and evening time to train for the majority of the people that you serve because of work hours and whatnot. So you do get stretched, and I also enjoy training people in the mornings and being here in the mornings. So I have a bit of front and back end of the day. Got a couple of long days, and yeah, it's always a struggle. But if you kind of recognize that it's kind of part of the fabric, and if you approach it like a job, and there is lots of other benefits to it as well, and you run your own schedule and things can change if you want it to, then yeah, it's also very good. But yeah, that and going to the tiredness thing, yeah, it's everyone does it, and you can. It's not like you learn it once and then you're clear. You never do it again. Sometimes you can catch yourself just booking a session here, a little pick up there, and then all of a sudden you find yourself freaking with your eyeballs hanging out your head because you've just had 2 really long back-to-back days, and you're like, fuck, I don't think I can do these deadlifts this afternoon.
Yeah.
I'm not going to train this elbow. But yeah, it can happen really, really easily.
It's human nature, isn't it? Just to chase the next thing.
It is. And I think if you're early on in the journey, then you just got to take what you can get.
Yeah.
And taking what you can get means that people are going to, like, the prospect or the person you're talking to, they're going to dictate when you book them.
Yeah.
So they're going to say, oh, well, I can come in before work at 5:30 in the morning. And you're like, I'll be there. And then someone else like, oh, I can do morning or evening. You're like, well, I'm busy at 5:30. Like, oh, I'll come in at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And you're like, great. And it's just like, fuck. Whereas once you get a bit more, like extraneous circumstances, I think for Paul, right? You're the manager of the gym. It's like you're in a bit of between a rock and a hard place right now with it. So it's like, okay, I got to cop this for a little while until I can negotiate a way out of it. As a few, I think it's more of a strategic decision. You're like, this is not ideal for like, say, my energy, but it is ideal for what I'm trying to do right now here in Sydney, for my family.
Yeah.
And you also do it in a way that, like, I mean, the fact that you've been able to do it for as long as you've been doing it means that it is sustainable.
Yeah, yeah. And I've made it better as I went through. Like, I remember at the start I would be doing lots of morning sessions, and then I'd even have, like, if someone wanted to train, remember some days I had like lunchtime sessions where I'd go home after the morning session. Maybe I've got 2 hours to kill at home, or I get something to eat or whatever, and then I'd come back into the gym for like one session, you know, for like an hour, do that session, back home again, and then back in the evening for like the third little shift. And yeah, so you're like that. At the start, you're sort of, you're just trying to get as much, well, I was anyway, just trying to get as much experience as I could and just see as many people as I could and learn from, because there's so many different types of people that you get to train. And I think early on, that's really important, just to get to have that exposure. But now, like recently, I obviously don't do lunchtime sessions or anything. I've recently dropped just at the start of lockdown, I dropped my Saturday morning classes, which I was doing at JB's, which I'd wanted to do for a while. So now it gives me a little bit of a longer weekend. And then I don't do any coaching now on a Monday morning either. So I've got like a sort of 2.5 day. I've got Saturday, Sunday, most of Monday, to sort of, be at home and have some time off and do whatever I want. So I've got a more condensed week, which is nice.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think like for me, the last couple of years have been exceptional because we've had COVID lockdown. So it's kind of changed the workscape a little bit, but it wasn't that long ago that I'd do 6 days a week all the time. And I think I've just been doing that forever. And then as soon as I stopped doing 6 days, I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. Paul, you kind of put the idea first in my head when you're like, fuck, I got the kids at home. I want to, I've got to be there. Like, I just want to get the weekends free. And it's like, fuck, that can't be too much to ask. But it's very, like I'd teach a class in the morning and then on a Saturday, and then I'd do like 3 PT sessions up until like 1 o'clock. And then you hear and you're like, oh, I better do my training, and then get some training done. And then before you know it, you're going home. It's 5 o'clock on Saturday. And really, it's like you just fall asleep, and then, you got one day of the weekend, you're back into a Monday. Yeah. I think that the big takeaway there for folks is like, know that it can be a real perilous thing to negotiate, like to give all of your available hours to the work. It's important that you do take everything you can get in the beginning, because like you said, it gives you practice, it gives you exposure, it allows you to get to a point of financial stability as soon as possible, which is the most immediate issue. But then once you've got a bit of confidence about yourself and you have some clients and you have I think at that point it's important to try and start to restructure the week so that it can suit you a little bit better. I know I withstood many years of just being exhausted and just refusing to admit it. But I was just over-caffeinated, under-rested, and I just got by like that for so long. And I'm like, fuck, would I do it any differently? I don't know, maybe I would, but I really, I'm like, well, what could life have been like if I wasn't just so fucking tired all those years, And I think that for a personal trainer who's getting in the game, that's really the key thing is like, if you're stretching your work hours to like starting and then finishing 12 hours later, it's invariably what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, it'll catch up with you.
Just charge double, then do only mornings, go home, knock by 2.
I mean, that's the thing. If you're getting fucking paid, who cares, bro? No, but that's the thing, isn't it? You're like, oh, no, I start at 6 a.m. that day, so I'm not taking sessions at 6 p.m. So I'm like, I'll pay $120. You'd be like, I'll take it.
Maybe I can squeeze it in.
Yeah. Let's talk. I guess the piece we didn't get into, and maybe we don't have to get into it today because it's been a pretty good chat. Probably we can leave it there. But the parts we didn't get into, maybe this is a good one for part 2, is like the actual sales and the marketing side of it. And that's, that's something that as you're the head of our PT development here at Jungle Brothers.
Yep.
That is something that you take the guys through to quite an in-depth degree every week.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we see that as integral to them being successful with their PT business, no?
Yeah, I think it's it's something that we're doing maybe probably 5-6 months now. Like not long before we went into lockdown, we started doing the business development sessions, which are just set up to help because there's a few new coaches that have come into the gym in the last year and a half. And it's not just for the new coaches, but it's really just to help them along and just speed up that whole process of what we've talked about, all those things that you sort of stumble over in the beginning when you get on, when you start working for yourself, like simple stuff like putting a direct debit system into place, like talking about all these things and mapping all that out and making them aware of, you should have these things in your business if you want to have a professional, sustainable business, talking about overworking, like all of these things that fall under that umbrella of personal training. We basically pick 1 or 2 topics each week and we go into them. We all sit around, all the coaches in the gym, and we sit around and we discuss the topic, or we learn about a topic. But yeah, in the beginning, it was when we first started, it was going through all of that stuff, like the like the niche, sales, marketing, how to market yourself, how to generate leads, all that sort of stuff, and just putting some good systems in place. And then, over lockdown, it was a bit of a on-the-fly thing, just each week, just adapting to the situation, that the new rules and stuff that came in over the course of lockdown. So it was just keeping people engaged and checking in with people over that time. And now we've come back in and we're starting to get back into that sort of more businessy stuff.
That makes sense. Yeah, the priorities change a little bit.
Yeah.
Through lockdown and whatnot.
Yeah, even though everyone got busier over lockdown, because it was obviously gyms were closed for a long time, so everyone sort of, funny enough, got busier, but it was still especially in the beginning, it was a real stressful time. So we just used that hour basically to come together over Zoom and just talk about sort of, if anyone had any concerns or was confused about the new rules that had been brought in, and it was it sort of went that direction for a few months there.
That's cool. I guess that side of it is, if we looking at what we spoke about today, which is like the onboarding piece and having an introductory process, understanding how to like transact with someone and have a payment thing, and then also managing your time and managing your energy so that you can bring your best to the gig, is almost like basic level shit. Like you absolutely got to have this stuff. But then second level is like, all right, you got that stuff in order. Now let's talk about how you're actually going to get your name out there, create some branding for yourself, find new leads and bring them into your business. Yeah,
exactly. Because I suppose the aim is to have every coach working here, that they're capable of generating their own leads and not just relying on the leads that come through the gym. Just educating and putting systems in place so that people can do that when they need to.
Let's wrap it there. Will you jump back on with us in a couple of weeks' time to talk about the rest of it?
I will, yeah.
Fucking ledge. Mm-hmm. Boys, thanks for the chat today. I appreciate that.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, Joey.
Thanks, bruh.
I think I'll retain you.
Please do retain my services. Oh, this session is amazing. I will be retaining your services.
Not.
Yeah. Mate, where I am, been waiting for you. 8 years.
Rent and running it.
Guys, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you are a coach or you're someone starting in the industry, you might like to know about our coaches internship. We were set to have one right about now, and because of the COVID piece, we had to cancel it, unfortunately. But the next one will be happening early next year, and I'm looking at either mid-Jan to early Feb. Coaches Intensive, we cover all of the things that we spoke about today, plus all of the things that we're going to talk about in our next episode: how to market yourself, how to be a figure of authority and communicate and lead a group of people, how to take payments, how to manage yourself, all the systems and processes you need to be an exceptional coach, and also to connect with the Jungle Alliance and be part of that. So if you are interested, you can get in touch with us at junglebrothers.com. The date is to be announced, but it will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So once we chat, I'll have something for you. Thank you for listening. If you did enjoy the episode, please share it with a friend. Help to support the show.
Peace.
See us.
See you.